Well, today I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to talk to you about leadership. All of you have read so much about leadership. There's so many books about leadership. There's so many articles, so many theories, so many classes being held every day talking about leadership. But leadership is an applied subject. It's not a theoretical thing. So I'm not going to talk to you about the theory of leadership. You all know that. I'm going to give you a lived experience of leadership, and that also from the sphere of public governance. Normally, people don't associate the government sector with much of leadership or professionalism or dynamism. But this is a story about government, about how leadership could make a difference in the sphere of public governance, how a major large infrastructure project was implemented and which made a difference to the life of the people and to the economy of the state. Well, when you talk of leadership, you talk of strategy, you talk of planning, you talk of objectives, you talk of goals. That's all right. But what is the most important part of leadership? You know, the famous Professor Ramcharan, he came to Jaipur here also, a great management thinker. He's written a beautiful book called Execution is the Key. You know, he says that if you survey the top 500 entrepreneurs of the world, you will find that all of them, all the CEOs are brilliant. They're great strategists, great planners, great thinkers, but not all of them succeed. Why don't they succeed? They fail at the level of execution. Most people fail at the level of execution. Execution demands a totally different level, a totally different kind of leadership. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about, leadership in execution. The project that I'm going to talk to you about, from where I will draw principles of leadership for you, is something which I think most of you are familiar with, the Lucknow-Agra Expressway. I think all of you, or many of you, must have traveled on the Lucknow-Agra Expressway. A 308-kilometer expressway, access-controlled expressway, 6-lane, expandable to 8-lane, which was, mind you, at the time when it was constructed, the longest expressway in India. And the second thing, which is all the more important, it was built in a record time. The fastest ever expressway ever constructed anywhere, and of tremendous quality. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about, how this thing came about. It all came about through leadership. And not leadership at my level or any other level, but leadership of so many people who were leaders in their own right, in their own levels. To begin with, it was the dream project of the then Chief Minister, Mr. Akhilesh Yadav, who took over in 2012. It was his dream that we should have a Lucknow-Agra Expressway, we should connect to the Yamuna Expressway and connect Lucknow to Delhi. I was Infrastructure and Industrial Development Commissioner and part of the initial forays when this project was discussed. Some initial work was done, an Expressway Development Authority was created, alignment was done, feasibility report was prepared, but then this project hit what you would say a stalemate. Why? Because of finances. Everything is basically about money. And this project was costing 15,000 crores. And where would this 15,000 crores come from? So we went for public-private partnership. And a lot of bids were there for PPP, but nobody is coming forth. If you can recall the period around 2012, 2014, the economy was not in such a situation that people were coming forward to invest money in infrastructure projects from the private sector. Even national highway projects are not taking off. And that is why nobody was coming forward. And so this project was stalled. And that was the time it so happened that I was fortunate enough to be appointed as the Chief Secretary of the state of Uttar Pradesh. I do recall that after becoming Chief Secretary, it is customary to meet your Chief Minister and ask him about what are the priorities. And of course, we went and discussed the priorities. I was a little surprised when I found that he did not mention Lucknow-Agra Expressway, because that was his dream project. So then I questioned him, so what about Lucknow-Agra Expressway? But he was a little diffident. He said, oh, so much time has gone by, and he had something to say about bureaucracy. The bureaucrats don't allow things to happen fast enough, So I'm not sure whether this project will take off. And I told him, sir, it's not true. We will develop this project. We will do it. But he said there's hardly much time left. Only 2.5 years or something. I said, we'll do it within 2.5 years. He said, is that possible? I said, we'll make it possible. That I made the statement just out of sheer sense of conviction at that stage. And he was very happy. He gave me his, full commitment. He said, I'll support you in every possible way. And then he articulated the vision of this Lucknow-Agra Expressway, which is so very important from the point of view of leadership. That vision became a part of my thinking. It became a part of thinking of each and every person who was associated with that project. It came from USA statement of John F. Kennedy. And John F. Kennedy is reputed to have said, it is not America that built roads, but it is roads that built America. You know, roads are the engine of growth. All the economic development takes place if we can build roads, connect every part of the country. Cargo and passenger traffic moves fast. Costs go down from industry. Industrial development takes place. So that is what John F. Kennedy said. And that was the first vision statement that was there for developing this expressway. And the second was, if you double the speed, you triple the economy. If you double the speed of movement, you will triple the economic growth, the rate of economic growth. So with these two vision statements in mind, we started on this project of the Lucknow Agra Expressway. I remember the first thing was finance, of course. I told you. That was the most difficult part. I knew government will have to spend money for this. 15,000 crores has to come from the government coffers. So that was EPC model we took up, not the PPP model. Now how will we do it? Where will the money come from? In our Principal Secretary of Finance, we had an outstanding officer. But he was a totally committed finance man. And you know finance people. You know, he would spend each penny of public money as if it was coming out of his own wallet. He wouldn't allow money to go easily. So I called him and I spoke with him. I tried to explain to him how this project will develop the economy of Uttar Pradesh, how it will make a difference, trying to, get him on board. But even before I could complete, he was there. He said, no sir, you go ahead. And I'll tell the Chief Minister also from my side, there will never be a shortage of money for this project. Whenever you want any amount of money, I'll make it available. You go ahead, it's a brilliant project, please go ahead and execute it. And that was more than half the job done. If the finances are there, you go ahead. Then comes the second most important part. And that is getting the right team. You can never execute anything without having the proper human resources. That's the essential principle of leadership. So I had to build a team from the beginning. And in government, it's not easy to have the right man at the right place. It's not like private sector that you can throw people out or bring people in. Sometimes you are given a team and you have to deliver with that kind of a team. But here my Chief Minister supported me and I could choose the team which I wanted. It began with selecting an officer as CEO. When I was looked in the entire list of the Indian Administrative Service and picked up an officer who would correspond to what I wanted. I wanted an officer who was willing to take risks. I wanted an officer who was result oriented. I wanted an officer who would not tell me where to put a comma and a full stop, but tell me how to deliver, how to get results. And I found such an officer. I picked him up and I went to the Honorable Chief Minister and I said, this is whom I want. He was kind enough. He gave me that officer and things started. Then came the issue of building the technical team. So we didn't have any team in Expressway Development Authority. It was separate from PWD. So we asked for engineers to come in from PWD. And when you ask for people to come for deputation, this is a common tendency in any department in corporate sector or in government, that they will give you all the dead wood. So they passed on all the dead wood. So you take these people. I said, no, with these people, this project is not going to be implemented in any way. I need this. And I picked people. And again, I got the support of the Chief Minister, and we could get the right kind of people we wanted, right from Chief Engineer downwards. And that is how we built the team. CEO, Chief Engineer and downwards, right person for the right job, the right kind of team, without which delivering Lucknow Agra Expressway would just not have been possible. Once we had done that, then came the next stage, of how to get the land for the project. The most difficult thing in any infrastructure project is getting land. You must be aware that most of the government projects or private sector projects are stalled because there are issues relating to land acquisition, because farmers' agitations take place, because farmers go to the court and there's a stay order from the court. So we could not afford that if we wanted to build a project in 2 years or 2.5 years. So what did we do? Well, we evolved a model. There were 10 districts involved. There were 236 villages involved. There was 35,000 hectares of land that was involved. There were 30,000 farmers that were involved. How to make sure that each and every one of them was happy and satisfied. So we authorized the 10 district collectors. Go to each and every village, negotiate with the farmer and agree on a price. And let us know that price and we'll approve it. Of course, the upper ceiling was there, 4 times the circle rate. And the collectors went. And I started monitoring it on video conferencing from Lucknow. It was remarkable. Within 3 months, can you believe it? Within 3 months, this much of land from 30,000 farmers was acquired, registry of land done, and compensation paid. And not a single farmer went to the court, not a single person agitated. That was the beauty of how this land acquisition process was executed. Now once we had the land, we had to go for developers. Here again, the Chief Minister was very clear. We don't want those small-time contractors. There will be no interference. You select the best in the world. And we selected the best in the world through a process of global tendering. The project was divided into 5 phases and got 5 top companies to execute this project. And they were given a timetable. 2 years, that's all. Nothing more than that. We want this project ready. They said it's impossible, but we said you have to make it possible. And then we got together as a team, our authority team, and then to make it possible. Comes the most important part, These things don't happen just like that. So we designed a system of monitoring and evaluation. We started with what was known as a reverse clock. We put up a clock in the project room. And in the clock, the date of completion was given at the time of starting the project itself. That we'll complete the project on this date. And we work backwards from there. That's known as the reverse clock method. And each and every activity is broken down into small activities down to the weekly targets of each activity. And then I, at my level, used to start a Monday meeting every week to review with all my officers how we are doing as per the weekly targets. And as it happened, we kept on moving from one week to another and achieving. And wherever a problem came, we solved it by sitting across the table. The biggest thing was this, decision making. Decision making was taken there. In government, decisions are made on files. And files have their own logic of moving. They have their own speed of moving. But we did not go to files. We took those decisions across the table. Just an example I'll tell you. You'll appreciate what I'm trying to say. Supposing in the alignment of the road, a primary school was there. And a primary school has to shift it. In the normal course, you write the education department processes it, and they ask for funds, they ask for new land to be given. So many things start happening, and simple shifting of a primary school would take 8 to 10 months. But here, it would come in a Monday meeting, we would take a call, within 1 week, the DM would select another piece of land, within 10 days, finance department would make money available, within 15 days, the shifting of the school will be done. It was that kind of decision making, that kind of speed, that kind of pace with which you could make it happen. Only then could such a large infrastructure project come into existence. So that's how. And the buck would stop there. I was there as the chief secretary. There was no level from above me where I could go. I had to take the decisions, I had to take the call and be accountable for it. And the rest of the team was there to support me. The brilliant thing about this project was the team spirit. Remarkable team spirit made this possible. As I said at the beginning, it is not about my leadership. It was about the leadership of all the officers concerned down the level. Each person started enjoying the project fully. They started believing in the project. And not only were they believing in the project, they were committed to the project fully. They shared the ideals. They shared the vision. Each team member believed that he was adding value to the project. And the best thing was when later on I heard many people saying, each member of the team, I built the Lucknow-Agra Expressway. So that is the best answer, When everybody in the team says, I did it, then leadership has achieved its objective. Leader has to stand back, has to stand back. And every team member says, I did it. He achieved it. And that's how it was. Each and every team member owned the project, They were not doing a project. They were not doing a professional work. They were owning the project. It was theirs. And it was their dream also, as it was the dream of everybody else. And that's how it came to fruition. That's how the dream was realized. And Lucknow-Agra Expressway became ready in exactly 23 months. Record time, it became ready. And we are very fond of saying, about the quality of the project. We used to advertise by saying that if you take a tumbler of water and put it in the bonnet of your car and drive through the Lucknow-Agra Expressway at 120 kilometers, the water will not spill. That was the quality that we were concerned about. We got a vindication of this. We got a vindication because one fine morning, the Indian Air Force came over and met the Chief Minister. I was also there. And they had a problem. And their problem was, sir, in the time of war, our airfields come under attack. They're on the radar of the enemy. So we need an alternative place where we can land and take off our warplanes. And so, we want to use this Lucknow-Agra Expressway. and we allowed them. And what a beautiful feeling it was, Sukhoi aircraft coming, landing on the Lucknow-Agra Expressway, taking off from the Lucknow-Agra Expressway. It became a second airfield by itself. That was the quality of construction that we could make it possible in 23 months and giving it to the Indian Air Force something which they could rely upon. Well, what do we draw lessons from this? Important leadership lessons are drawn from this. It is possible to get things done even in government, in public governance also, if the right kind of leadership is there at all levels. It all starts with political will. The political will of the Chief Minister was there with us. Only that made it possible. Comes administrative leadership. I was there as the administrative leader, but it was the team with me which made it possible. So, monitoring, past decision making, and proper motivation and inspiration of the team, and regular team spirit, people getting together to make things happen. All collaboration, all coordination, proper communication, and this is how all these principles of leadership emerged from this to make this project, to make this dream a reality. And it opened up the area for development. The farmer who was selling his vegetables at 2 rupees a kg on the roadside could now send his vegetables to the Delhi market and get the price. The logistics and warehousing complexes started coming up on both sides of the expressway. 6 industrial corridors were planned and are likely to come up very soon around that, because the results take time to come. We even were thinking of developing a new greenfield city, smart city on the sides of the Lucknow-Agra Expressway. All that will come sooner than later. But already it has made a big difference to the economy of the state, and it gave a template. It gave a template for all future expressways to be constructed. How you can go ahead of acquiring land, how you do about implementation, how you can do things in a record time. So this was an iconic project. This gave an example of excellence in leadership, how leadership can be truly transformative in any sphere. Lucknow-Agra Expressway is a lived experience, as I told you. It throws up principles which can be applied anywhere, be it the academic sector, be it the corporate sector, be it government, or be it any other sector. These are universal principles of leadership, and this I'm giving you or telling you from an experience which I've lived through. That's all. Thank you very much.